Okay, this is Algebra 2, 4th period, Unit 10 review. I'm going to start with number 25. For each function, it's supposed to be a find its maximum value or minimum value, the coordinates, the vertex of its graph, its domain, its range, and its zeros. Okay, so let's just start with, first off, this looks like ax squared plus bx plus c. So we've got a is equal to 4, b is equal to negative 12, c is equal to 0. Okay, so a is equal to 4. It's greater than 0. That means it opens up, so I have a minimum. Okay, so what is that minimum? So to find that minimum, we need to find the vertex. The vertex is x is equal to negative b over 2a. So that's 12 over 8, or 3 halves. And then I plug that in. F of 3 halves is equal to 4 times 3 halves squared minus 12 times 3 halves. Okay, so that's 9 minus 18, that equals negative 9. So this is my minimum. Okay, so I got the minimum. That's the verb. Let's go the minimum. Okay, so that equals 9. Alright, so vertex on this case for B, the vertex is 3 halves 9. 3 halves negative 9, excuse me, that's your vertex. So what else do we need to know? We need to know, okay, you got that, it's domain. If y'all remember correctly, the domain for all parabolas is all real numbers. The range, in this case, it's got a minimum, so y is greater than or equal to the minimum value, 9. And then it's zeros, that means 0 is equal to 4x squared minus 12x. That's factorable. 4x comes out, and so zero product property, 4x is equal to 0, x minus 3 is equal to 0, so x is equal to 0, or x is equal to 3. Okay, so we answered all pieces for that one. Let's look at the next one. Okay, so it's in standard form. So let's answer. Does it have a max or a min? And what is that? In this case, a is equal to 2, which is greater than 0, so it opens up, which means it has a min. I need to find what the min equals. So let's move on to finding the vertex. X is equal to negative b over 2a. It's negative 1. Plug in negative 1. So I get 2 times negative 1 squared plus 4 times negative 1 minus 1. So I get 2 minus 4 minus 1, which is negative 3. Okay, so my vertex is negative 1, negative 3. That's the vertex, which means the min is equal to negative 3. The vertex is equal to negative 1, negative 3. The domain, again, it's a parabola, so the domain is all reals. The range is going to be y is greater than or equal to because it's a minimum. Remember, it opens up, and the minimum value is negative 3. So the last thing to find is the zeros. So I've got 0 is equal to 2x squared plus 4x minus 1. And that's part E. And that's not factorable, so we use the quadratic formula. Negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times a. Negative 4 plus or minus the square root of 16 plus 8 over 4. That's equal to negative 4 plus or minus the square root of 24 over 4. Negative 4 plus or minus 4 times 6 is 24, square root of 4 is 2, 2 square root of 6 over 4, and that reduces one last time. Negative 1 plus or minus these, or not negative 1, negative 2 negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 6 over 2. Those are my zeros. Okay, now moving on to the last few problems. Find an equation, a quadratic equation with integer coefficients. Okay, x is equal to 3, x is equal to 5, x minus 3 is equal to 0, x minus 5 is equal to 0. Multiply them together, equals 0, and I get x squared minus 8x plus 15 is equal to 0. Foil it. Remember, foil, binomial times binomial, you foil it. Do the same type thing. X is equal to 2/3, x is equal to negative 4/3. You get 3x is equal to 2, 3x is equal to negative 4. Subtract the 2, you get 3x minus 2. Add the 4, you get 3x plus 4 is equal to 0. So I get 3x minus 2 times 3x plus 4 is equal to 0. And I FOIL, which gives me 9x squared. 12x minus 6x plus 6x minus 8 is equal to 0. Moving on to 29. 29, same thing. X is equal to the square root of 6 over 2, or x is equal to the negative square root of 6 over 2. So I get 2x is equal to the square root of 6. I get 2x is equal to the negative square root of 6. Subtract the square root of 6. Add the square root of 6. Multiply those two things together. 2x minus the square root of 6. 2x plus the square root of 6 is equal to 0. And I FOIL. When I FOIL, I get 4x squared minus the square root of 36 is equal to 0. Or I get 4x squared minus 6 is equal to 0. There's my answer for that one. 30. X is equal to 1 plus the square root of 5 versus x is equal to 1 minus the square root of 5. Let's get x minus 1 minus the square root of 5 is equal to 0. X minus 1 plus the square root of 5 is equal to 0. So I get x minus 1 minus the square root of 5. X minus 1 plus the square root of 5 is equal to 0. Remember, I'm going to treat these things as, well, I'm going to do it this way. I showed you the other way in class. I'm going to treat it as the difference of squares. It's x minus 1 squared minus the square root of 5 squared equals 0. And that's a perfect square binomial. And so I get x squared minus 2x minus 4 is equal to 0. Okay, two more. Alright, x is equal to 3I root 3. X is equal to negative 3I root 3. X minus 3I root 3 equals 0. X plus 3I root 3 equals 0. Multiply them together. X minus 3I root 3 times x plus 3I root 3. Alright, that's the difference of squares. So we'll get x squared minus 3I root 3 squared equals 0. So I get x squared minus 9I squared square root of 9 is equal to 0. Or x squared is equal to negative 9 times negative 1 times 3 is equal to 0. Or x squared plus 27 is equal to 0. Okay, and last one. X is equal to negative 2 plus the square root of 5 over 3. X is equal to negative 2 minus the square root of 5 over 3. So we get 3x is equal to negative 2 plus the square root of 5. 3x equals negative 2 minus the square root of 5. Add the 2. Subtract the square root of 5 equals 0. Add the 2. Add the square root of 5 is equal to 0. Multiply those two pieces together. Okay, so that means they're going to follow a specific pattern. It's the difference of squares. Remember, I can do it like this. That makes it 3x plus 2 squared minus the square root of 5 squared equals 0. So that's special product. And square root of 5 squared is 5. And so I get 9x squared plus 12x minus 1 is equal to 0. Okay, so that's the end of the review. And just email me if you have questions.